It's often been said that PR is a very important part of farming and the farming industry, but the bottom line is we're not all that very good at it. I'd like to say that federated farmers are doing a good thing with little farm visits where on a specific day the people in the city can come out and have a wander around. It must be an osher's nightmare, but it's very good, and the people do come out and they do wander around and they do see cows and they do see crops, and the nice thing about that is that youngsters can actually learn that milk doesn't come in cartons, it actually comes from a cow through a processing plant and then into the cartons, and that the vegetables don't suddenly appear as if by magic in the greengrocing section of a supermarket. The most important thing, I think, is to get the youngsters and get them an understanding so that they can relate properly to farming. It wasn't that many generations ago that everybody in the city seemed to have an uncle and an auntie who ran a farm, and so weekends and school holidays they'd go out to the farm and they'd work out exactly what it all was about, and they'd play in the hay stack and the hay shed, and they'd feed pet lambs, and they'd do all those sorts of things that second nature to country people. I'd like to now, though, congratulate New World, because New World have come out with a scheme. There's been a fair bit of talk recently about school children and schools, obviously, starting to do a vegetable patch so that the youngsters can get their hands dirty and they can plant seeds and plant little plants, and then of course they will mature and then they can eat the produce, except normally the produce comes into eating stage during the school holidays, which is a bit of a problem. However, getting back to the point, what New World have done is they've come out with little wee capsules, and it's a little container, and there's a compressed soil piece in the bottom of it, and there's a little pad with some seeds in it. So the children can read the instructions, or the parents can read the instructions, and put a bit of water onto that little wee piece of soil, and it expands out, and they can look and see what's happening there, and then they put it into the little container, and then they put the seeds on top of that, and they keep it watered, and the instructions are, when you get up in the morning, see if it's moist, and before you go to bed, make sure there's enough moisture in there, and then you'll be able to grow things. Once they've grown a wee bit, the youngsters can then put them in a bigger pot, and eventually they can proudly present them to the family. Isn't that absolutely brilliant that we've actually got a supermarket chain who are saying, let's work with the farming population, let's work with the people on the land and actually get an understanding for the youngsters who live in a city that things like vegetables don't suddenly appear, they're grown. And isn't that half the fun? I tell you what, it's not just aimed at the youngsters either. I'm doing quite a few of them already.